Mic check, mic check. Morning Masters podcast. I was made, of course. I got a special guest across me, a recurring guest, a guest that was here before. Go ahead and introduce yourself again, if you will.
Kiami Freeman, the agricultural wellness consultant.
There you go. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. So just real quick, let's do a brief thing. How have you been since the last time we recorded? What kind of feedback, I guess, did you get from our last episode?
I got a little feedback. A lot of my buddies, I just sort of send it to them via text message or, private message. But I got a little bit of feedback. I kind of want to put it somewhere else to see if we can get some more. So I was going to ask you how I could integrate it onto my YouTube as well.
Oh, I mean, we can talk about that off air. That's fine. But yeah. So feedback wise, like just some feedback I got was I think the hearing a story was really interesting to some people. Like to hear the story of someone who grew up a certain way, but kind of like not your average black young girl growing up kind of way. You know what I'm saying? It was a little different. And then also just the way you was able to describe your childhood and just from your perspective of it not being you were outcasted even from your own kind. So to hear from that perspective as well, not just the whole the white man never did nothing for me type of vibe. We're just more so like, hey, look, both parties then did stuff to me.
Yeah.
So
I balance it. It's just a balance. I watch both sides. As far as feedback though, my cousin actually said it helped him to understand me better because even though we are related and, he was like, I didn't even know you had done and been through all of that. So it helped him get to know me a little bit better.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. But and that's what podcast, like I look at it like this. When I do episodes and stuff, I really try to paint a picture, and I know it get vague saying next to everybody claiming they're artists now. But I look at it as art. So like I might have an idea in my mind, somebody might say something. It might be one thing you say during this exchange where sometimes instead of me doing circles, I'll do something different. I got to come back to what you said and kind of break that down. Because if I don't know, I feel like the audience also, don't know. So I did like hearing that story part of everything too. And then to kind of get to where you at, it's like it makes sense. Okay, she's doing this and think about all the stuff she's been through. I just think it's dope.
I appreciate that.
When the ending and the beginning and the middle all just kind of mesh together. Like, it's like you don't know where you're going. It's like, oh, he was going here with it. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So that'd be dope though. So I think it was dope. I learned a lot that day too. So that was cool.
Well, I'm glad that you did. That's the whole point. Yeah. Is for people to learn and grow in their own way, whatever fits them. So
definitely, man. But so obviously we here today. Me and my man's Juanito. He goes by Jace for some reason, but I call him Juanito because his name is Juan. But we started a series for mental health. I think we on like episode 4, if I'm not mistaken, or 3, one of them. And he couldn't be here today because he had some obligations. But when you reached out and you said some of the things you was talking about, I said, you know what? It's a different view. It's a different maybe aspect. But that's what I want to do. I like to navigate all aspects because I don't want to just put the stuff that the media throw in our face, young man growing up with no dad or black woman struggling. I want to still touch on those, but I also want to touch on the stuff that it's a percentage of people that's never going to touch on that at all. I always try to think outside the box and be a little different. I feel like if somebody's going to do it, I want to be able to do it and navigate that. So with that being said, welcome to the mental health series.
Gratitude.
Talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on mental health. Just let's start there, right? What is it to you? What does it mean to you? How important is it? Like, whether it's black people, whether it's all races, whatever. Like, what is mental health to you?
It's very important because if you don't have your mind, you don't really have anything. Your mind is what helps you navigate this realm, and others if you can tap into that. So mental health is a big deal. It's a very big deal. It guides a lot of people's actions. So you have to kind of nurture that area. But I will say try not to get caught up in the stigma or make contracts with the negative side of the mental health.
Yeah.
Address what you need to address and find a way to work through it. So, because the only way to do it is to go through it.
Well, I want to ask you something because you mentioned, we got some topics we want to hit on. So the first one, I know when you sent me some topics, you was talking about the current state of black people, right?
Mhm.
What do you mean by that when you say that? Like, kind of describe. I know it was some vague topics, but I know you want to kind of dive in them. So, what do you mean when you say that? After, let me quote you correctly. It says, "Current state of Black community and a resolution for the revival of it." What does that mean? Anytime I hear revival, I always get scared. So, what's going on?
Why you get scared? Let me ask you that first. Oh, I want to knock the lavender over.
I don't know. It's just revival. That words. I mean, it's to me. I'll be honest with you. If we being open here, it's synonymous right now to me. Mind you, maybe not to you, but it's synonymous with like church.
Oh no.
I hear it.
I got you.
So the word to me, and probably to people that's watching, it might mean something different than what you're gonna say or what the meaning you giving.
Revival, revitalization. How do you say it? Like a revolution, I guess you could say, or to revitalize, not revitalization, but to revitalize it, to bring it back to life, to breathe life back into it.
Okay. Well, I guess it could. I mean, I guess it could still be church. I get it now. Okay, yeah. When you break it down that way, I kind of understand.
Yeah, to kind of bring it back to life, breathe some life into it, revive it.
So what do you? So when you say that, though, what do you mean? Like, what is the current state of the Black community? I guess, in what you were referring to.
It's in a mess, and the side of the Black community that's being broadcasted and pushed in the media in everybody's faces is not the actual melanated community. It is a bunch of people with mental health and spiritual issues, a lot of spiritual oppression.
Like, I'm trying to dig a little deep. Like, when you say that, like, can you give me an example? I guess, like when you say media is pushing, I guess, this narrative or whatever. What does that mean?
So we have certain.
I'm talking like
I wouldn't
stars.
call them artists.
Kanye West.
No, I love Kanye
Did he?
West. I don't. We're not gonna even get on the diddler.
The diddler was crazy. That's a crazy term. The diddler. Come on, when you came up with that? That's funny.
He be diddly dabbling too much.
Chill,
So.
chill out. I asked. Well, I don't know. Well,
what's put out in front of the Black community and the world is a certain, I would say, genre or level of melanated folks, or folks that share the same hue as us. That is not, it doesn't look good at all. It looks horrible. It makes people think certain things about the Black community, which, I mean, granted, they'll probably do that anyway, because it's America. But I just don't like what's being pushed out to the youth. Like, as far as adults go, they're kind of stuck in their ways, so I don't really, unless they're willing to change some things, I don't really go that route. But what's being pushed to the children is what is an issue. We don't have enough melanated doctors being pushed, lawyers, entrepreneurs. Even though we have a lot of them, we don't have it. That's not what's being pushed out here in the mainstream.
So what is being pushed to the youth?
Trash.
Like, give me an example.
Garden tool behavior.
Okay. So you talking about like kind of the entertainment industries, so to speak, somewhat. Like,
and we have to, and as much as I don't like to touch on that, because I really don't like to pay them any attention, but they have a tie to us. You know what I mean? And they have a connection to us that influences the youth and the adults now, because even the adults have lost their daggone mind. So, yeah, those individuals, be it they were paid to do certain things or not, but they're part of the issue. And that goes back to when I said something about frequencies. It's the music. Music is programming. Music can heal you or it can bring you down.
So when you say programming, you mean like, because it sounds, I mean, I'm being objective a little bit. Are we going to blame music for it? Like, so you saying people should make different music then? Or is it just music being pushed? Because say you put a song out, whatever, and it just goes, whatever, it goes. Or you're saying like people making a conscious effort to push this music and maybe not that music.
Yeah, it's a conscious effort. Nothing is ever coincidental, and it's not by accident. It is all by design.
Okay, but so from a music standpoint, right, and they pushing that out, how does that coincide with like the mental health, I guess?
Okay, so think about this. When you're, and they have reels on this, and I'm going to send it to you offline. Think about this. you're in the car, all of a sudden something comes on, and it's got the certain frequency level, probably some 808s in the background, which are not good. And now all of a sudden you drug dealing and you killing. But that's not what you that's not what you do. But you're in that energy. Next thing you know, you driving faster. Faster. You ain't even paying attention to what you're doing. You just is a certain spirit that comes over you when you listen to certain music. So that does affect the mind. It does affect the mental health. There's this glorification of getting money a certain way. Now you got a lot of melanated boys and men trying to get money that way because that's what the song said. That's what it looks good. There's programming. It affects your mind.
So I think I can see both aspects of it. I think I definitely see where it can be programming because you're listening to it, and for the person that maybe is not from that community, that's not around it, they like, they enticed to kind of see what that's about. But then you got people that live in the community, so they're gonna. It's like by nature they're going to do that anyway. Not by
because
nature.
They were programmed. No, you're right. Not
but it's
by
not,
nature,
but it's not music. It's just they going outside. Yeah.
It's environmental.
Okay.
And
I just want to say we blaming any drug dealer or anybody that starts doing drugs. I don't want to make it seem we
no, we're
music.
not blaming them because ultimately at the end of the day, it's up to the individual to do whatever they're gonna do. Your vice is your vice. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what I'm saying, as far as mental health goes, the music can affect your mental health. That's just like I tell people that come to me, my clients, for wellness sessions, it's like, if you're going through a breakup or if you're sad, don't go listen to breakup songs and angry, I hate men songs and things of that nature. You need to find something that's going to bring your spirits up and uplift you. And it's the same thing with movies. There's certain tones that you know something bad about to happen. You feel it. Your body might lock up. You know, it's just like the Jason theme, the Michael Myers. You already know what's coming.
The music, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a program. So it affects your mind. Therefore, it can affect your mental health.
So when you, so I understand what you're saying about the black community now, but you also mentioned the idea of a resolution. So from the stuff that you named, or if it's more stuff you want to name, what would be that resolution or do you have one, or are you just saying we need to come up with one?
Have vibrational music, different music that shifts the energy away from. I think we've done enough gang banging and all of that stuff.
What if it's not? Like, is it going to be good music? I say this to say this, like, because I know it's probably deeper than music than what you're saying. You're probably using examples just music wise, but it's like, you know, if a song is good, it's good. So you a cowgirl, you know what I'm saying? Like, how'd you feel when you heard, not now, just when you first heard the first time, not after everything came out and they tried to push this agenda, which it probably stemmed from too, but I didn't think about it. But when they had the Old Town Road song, at first, and then I was just talking about maybe, you know, he's a black man singing this, but now he's gay, all the other stuff. So like, how'd you feel when that came out?
I didn't listen to it.
Why not? Because you were a cowgirl and you was like, I'm good on that.
I'm also a musician. So I sing, I compose, all of that. So certain songs just don't, it doesn't even pique my interest. I might hear like a snippet of it and be like, it just doesn't sit right with my spirit. So I don't listen to it. And it's nothing to do with him being a part of the community. It's just, I didn't like the song. I didn't think it was a good song.
It is problem, by the way. So, you know, I don't really care about that. Like, that's not. But I was wondering because, you know, like you mentioned though, of a push of a narrative. He's black, so I wondered if that had anything to do. But like, what other narratives is being pushed? So let's say you could say, all right, say entertainment. So you say whether it's movies or, you know, like what we consider quote unquote black excellence, and then it come out to be, well, for 20 years we've been saying this is black excellence, but now this is also black excellence when you talk about Diddy or whatever it may be. Or even Kanye West with stuff that's coming out now, whatever. But you look at it from a music standpoint. Besides music, what other things or connections do you feel like are ruining the black community? Because you said we're a mess.
The food.
Much. The food?
Mm-hmm.
What you mean?
The food choices.
Yeah, like I know, like what you mean when you say that. Like, I know what food choices mean, but like what? Like, give me an example of like a place or what you talking about.
There's this thing called gut and mind health connection. There's a connection from your gut and your mind. So if you're eating low vibrational foods that don't really nourish your body or feed your body, you're going to be in a chaotic state. Also, if you don't understand that melanated people also need vitamin D. We normally get it through the sun, but for some reason, a lot of melanated folks don't like to go out or sit in the sun anymore, which is, I know why, they're too heavy. The foods they're eating. Mm-hmm. The sun makes you sluggish instead of charging you up, which is literally supposed to do. We were gifted that. And we don't even take advantage of it because we're too sluggish, we're too heavy to even sit out there and be able to get it.
How does one person know, like, what's a low vibrational meal and high vibrational? Because when that word, to me, it came out a couple years ago.
A lot of processed foods.
So why do we say vibration?
Okay. Because it puts you on a certain frequency level.
Okay.
Once you clean your vessel, so put it to you this way. As they say, cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. We're going to take it that way for just a brief moment, but not that way, just using the term. So if your vessel is clean, a lot of negativity can't really penetrate you like that. And we live in a world full of toxins in the air, in the water, in the food, and then you're not doing anything to cleanse yourself. And when I say living foods, I guess you could say more plants, more vegetables, more fruit.
So what's the bad food you're talking about? I want to make sure I don't want to lose nobody in the midst of
processed foods like Hot Pockets, Hot Cheetos, like all those different things like that. A lot of processed foods instead of ingesting more.
Is he talking about fast food or are we talking about
fast food?
So
processed
like McDonald's,
foods,
Popeyes?
Definitely McDonald's.
Okay, I'm trying because the people gonna watch this. I don't want them not to
definitely McDonald's. You should. There's documentaries on how McDonald's even makes their food that will make you gag. Yeah. So processed foods like.
So like is it only ruining the black community? Or
it's ruining everybody.
Okay, but you just talking about the black community. Okay, I got you.
It's ruining everybody though.
So what's wrong with it? So I eat McDonald's. What's wrong now? Like, so I eat it, then what? I'm now something wrong with me, or like what you mean?
You can have a gambit of health issues from eating certain foods. A lot of people think that the stuff that they have going on with them is hereditary when it's really not. It's just environmental. Because in that environment, that's what your family ate. That's what you grew up on eating.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's hereditary because it can stop with you.
So, like, you gave me an example of McDonald's or fast food or whatever it may be. So, in the event that they want to switch to do something else that's healthy, right? What would they eat? Like, what they supposed to eat? They put
more plants. More. You don't have to go. I don't tell people to go vegan. That's not my thing. I tell people to eat a balanced way. That's going to give you the best that you can ingest, to prolong your life.
How can somebody determine that? Like, I'm thinking about people watching this, the average person. Mm-hmm. So you be saying this stuff, like, or even me. I want to not eat Popeyes or McDonald's. I want to make my life longer.
I'm not going to
go vegan. So I have to literally just make it from that's the key.
Start making your meals yourself. And if you want to do meat, find a farm.
When you say yourself, so I'm saying you gotta be specific when you're saying it. So when you say
make
yourself,
it from scratch. Make your food at home. Cook yourself your food. You don't know what they're putting in the food out here, because if you think about it, with all these restaurants, there's a supply and demand. Where's all the meat coming from? And there's all kind of documentaries out now, and people that have quote unquote blown the whistle on certain industries that are doing stuff to the meat that's not even real meat. So you're ingesting fake food. It's almost like living in a Barbie world where they had the little fake food for the Barbies. And that's literally what's going on in real time. They have 3D meat now. So that's why I said go to an actual
define
farm.
That. What is that? What is that 3D meat? What does that mean?
They're printing meat to eat.
I guess go a little. When you say printing, like it's not real meat. I guess is it,
No, it's fake meat.
So what's
They're
the process?
like a 3D printer.
What's the process? So what they put there to make it? You ever seen Good Burger before?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something like that where like how they made the Mondo burger? So it was some other chemical stuff. Then they shot something in, and then it's a big burger.
Mm-hmm. That's the same. Okay. Yeah, along the same lines. Especially, and it's along the same line as plant based. There's a difference between being plant based, as in the actual plant, and an actual plant that you have smoke stacks coming out of, and you're making fake food in there. I cannot ingest any plant-based meats. I'm not gonna say the names on here, but I can't even stomach it. I get sick because it's not real food.
So when you say food choices and you talk about the Black community, right? I don't want to just get away from each thing we're talking about. I want to kind of dive into it a little bit. But you talk about how in relation to mental health, but you got to understand too, or we have to think about or balance out whether you say eat healthy or plant your food or make it from scratch, right? But that is actually a little more expensive than McDonald's, and I'm only talking money wise. I know you're probably gonna say, well, not with your life, or I get that.
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
Or the people listening, but it's easy to say that if you in poverty over like the Black community, someone was already in poverty, and you got $25 until your next check, whatever, you ration it out. You're like, I gotta eat for the next 3 days. The first thought is probably McDonald's.
Okay, I hear what you're saying in that aspect.
Because with that amount of money, in 3 days, you can't eat. I can't go just find my own meat, my own chicken, cut them up. I mean, I probably can. I don't know how much it costs, but like that way of eating is also a little more expensive as well. That is true, correct? Like eating that way is more expensive than McDonald's. I don't know if I want to pull a menu up, but like a burger at McDonald's, like, well, I don't know, because McDonald's did go up in prices, but
this morning
I spent $30 on. I had McDonald's this morning, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there. I had McDonald's this morning. All right.
I can tell when people eat certain stuff. I listen to people.
Read me. How can you tell? How can you tell me eat McDonald's? Besides the fact that I gained weight.
No, it's not even about weight. It's about your energy shift.
What? Well, I'm sluggish or something like that?
No.
So how you know
when people start talking and being, I'm not saying defensive, but very headstrong about a certain thing, I know that's their thing. So I don't really.
Well, I don't eat McDonald's heavy, but so my way of question is just more so I want to ask stuff that people are going to ask from the get go. So even because you saying it right, the people watching, they probably eat McDonald's all the time. I don't eat all the time, but and I don't like McDonald's anyway. To be honest with you, I don't like it that way.
Okay.
But I do know people watching, so I'm like, hold on, let's bring it back here. But I also know people like, well, hold on. I hear that before. I heard that it costs more money to eat this way than that way. Not that people don't want to do it, but it's like, oh, I ain't really got that.
That's not necessarily true either.
But when you think about, well, you might maybe it's not cost. Maybe it's not cost. I don't know. I have no price in front of me. But I'm thinking, if you say make something from scratch. So think about this. If I want to cook something right now, you make it from scratch, right? How long is it really going to take me to do all that? And then how long if I drive to McDonald's, come back and get my food? You get what I'm saying? It's like it's a lot of things in there.
It's about what you're willing to sacrifice.
It's definitely discipline. That's a high cost. That discipline probably costs more than everything because everybody ain't got discipline. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then that's just for me. And I don't judge the people because I've had issues where I've had to tighten up my discipline in areas. So I'm not judging you. I'm going to listen and I'm going to hear excuse. But I'm not going to come down on you because that's ultimately it is your life. I'm only here to assist when people want it and want to be healed and healthy in that way. But say, for instance, okay, so if somebody got food stamps, right?
Mm-hmm.
How my cousin shifted her stuff was one of my cousins, I will not mention them, but they had stamps. Her cart from everybody else's cart looked vastly different. There was more healthy foods in her cart. In another person's cart that is undisciplined, that has every excuse in the world, it's a lot of processed food.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a microwavable generation now. They want it quick. They want it fast. So
Some of the audio is just messed up. That really bothered me. I guess it stopped, but it's fine.
mm,
But I definitely want to say, like, from some stuff to talk about is, I really think a lot of decision making. When you talk about the projects, you talk about being in a certain community, in the Black community, whether it's poverty, whether it's just being around the lightness of whatever the Black community is. So if it's just poor decision making, if it's poor spending habits, poor eating habits, you're around it anyway. It don't have to be just the projects. It could be a street you live on. It could be an area you live in.
Yeah,
it could be an environment you live in. You know,
it's different. See, the thing is, and I think the biggest issue that the melanated community does not like to address, and they don't understand, is that every quote unquote race of people has this. There are classes in every race. There are classes in every race. But the reason I say we look a mess now is because the class that every other race does not glorify is being glorified in our community. So it's a class thing more than anything. But I've met people in poverty that knew how to make it work better than somebody that isn't in poverty. I've met people whose houses in the projects were cleaner than somebody with $100,000 house and up. And they made sure they ran a tight ship. Their kids were more disciplined. They were like, so it's really the person. And you got to be willing to see that you don't want to walk the same walk as everybody else. And then, like I said, we have those generational curse breakers, and they're placed at every class level. Some are at the top, some are in the lower level.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. But if you're that person to come up out of that and to end it with you and your, offsprings, then you'll be able to navigate that. And it doesn't matter what income level you're at, because you're going to eventually get where you need to be, because you might be in it, but you're not in it. You get what I'm saying?
Definitely understand that. Yeah.
That's kind of like being in the world, but not of the world. So kind of that same aspect.
So I know I wrote one thing down. You said food desserts.
Food deserts.
Food deserts. I'm sorry. My bad. Food deserts. What do you mean by that?
Food deserts are basically places that don't have access to food. Really, they got to travel across town to go to a big grocery store, a Walmart, or if they don't have grocery stores in the area at all, they might have a Dollar General, Family Dollar.
In your stance is that's affecting the Black community.
It is, because sometimes they don't have the transportation to get across town, so their only option is those processed foods or overpriced vegetables if they want them, because they're coming out of stores that aren't grocery stores. They're like Dollar General, Family Dollar, things of that nature. Well, I haven't seen them in Family Dollar, but Dollar General actually has now a whole section for fruits and vegetables, and some of it's a little overpriced, in my opinion.
When you say that about the food desert, I think about a place like up the road when there's a Louisville or Wayne's, not Louisville or a Ren's. Whereas most times they got to drive over here to get some of the things they want.
Food desert.
Yeah. So I can see that. Like and I get it. It's factors now, because now you got to have the transportation to get over there, or the time to get over there. So I definitely see that.
And the funds.
Funds as well. Yeah.
That's why I advocate for community gardens in those areas.
Well, talk about how that would help the community gardens. How would that help? Like with anything?
Well, for one, it would bring a sense of camaraderie amongst the community, because they're growing things together. And then if you start having classes out there, now they're learning different things, and maybe you find out that Miss So-and-so know how to can, or Miss So-and-so know how to sew, or Miss So-and-so know how to bake, or Mr. So-and-so know how to build stuff. Now you're helping them mentally come out of whatever ruts they're in, because now they have a purpose for something, whether they might not have thought they had a purpose, and then that turns hate to those that have already made, their way in life. But if you start picking up on their hidden talents throughout the community and putting them into place to work their talents, it'll shift the energy and the mindsets. It'll change the mental health. And now everybody's coming together collectively to do the things they need to do for the community to sustain itself.
Gotcha.
Sustain itself. Yeah.
That makes sense though. I think that's important for places like that does have that problem if it's a food desert. And I do think, but back to what you were saying, as far as like how when you eat a certain way, you feel a certain way, right? So that would give places like that more of, I don't know if it's a mental capacity or just a better chance that the mental, and not
You'd
just
be
mental
more
only,
clear.
but more clear mindset. Eating even healthier now.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to drive the way, but you also can eat healthier as well. So I like that. But I also want to touch on, you said nutritional health of the Black community that links to food. Yeah. So when you think about the McDonald's, you think about the fast food areas, do you think that is more like it's a word for it. I can't think of it at the top of my head right now. But you know how like it's a term for when they got like the liquor stores
It's intentional.
Yeah.
If you go to the other side, and we know what side I'm suggesting, you'll start seeing more healthier food places, things of that nature. But the more melanated side, you're gonna get a couple of liquor stores on the corner. Definitely a McDonald's and a Burger King and a Popeyes off rip. You rarely gonna see a Panera. They just started really maybe putting a Starbucks over there. That you're not gonna catch a Fresh Market or a Sprouts or anything like that to open your eyes to different avenues of food and start a different relationship with food.
What are your thoughts on Fresh Market? Like, is that a better way to shop? Is it easier to shop?
I like it. I think it's price funny to me, but I like it. Sprouts is a good one. Aldi. I mean, even Food Line is a good store to shop at. And people, whether they believe it or not, I mean, it is. I've gone into, I think I should say certain ones in certain areas. But yeah, there's one up the road. It's really nice to go in there. And their fruits and veggies are priced at a very reasonable price. I mean, I think their food is priced at a pretty decent price.
I know I mentioned price earlier, but I do want to say, based on the stuff you're saying, because I'm trying to get a lot of stuff you're saying, even if it's priced a little higher, the thought or the saying is, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pay. Sometimes I pay for it.
So when I talk to you about how, McDonald's is cheaper, Popeyes is cheaper, you get what you pay for. So also down the line, when you start to have these health issues,
you're
it's
gonna
because
pay
you want
for
to go
it.
the cheap route. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you have to do this, you don't do this, but I wanted to kind of create that balance of when I asked the question earlier.
Yeah.
And now me asking the question now, because I see that standpoint of this is healthier and this is supposed to prolong you. That's probably why it costs more.
Yeah, and it's gonna cost more.
You mentioned the hidden hands earlier in another segment we were talking about the hidden hands and people pushing narratives, pushing agendas, but not really showing their hand. Well, it's not a secret as why McDonald's might be a little cheaper.
Yeah, and the salad is more expensive at fast food places than the actual burgers are. That's crazy to me. But then that's the incentive for you to get the burger and not the salad because you can't afford the salad, but you can afford the burger.
Makes sense. So it's funny. Sometimes people think they eat healthy. I'm gonna go get a salad from this unhealthy restaurant.
Oh my gosh! No, I've seen people salads, and I'm thinking that's just like a charcuterie board with a little lettuce on it. That is not a salad, but okay. I mean, A for effort, I guess.
Real quick, I want to can you mention some of the stuff you got here so we can.
Oh, so. When I was talking about, my incense done went out now, but when I was talking about the music and I was talking about frequencies, there's even there's certain podcasts I have not watched him yet, but I think he's I've always thought he was a little mastermind in his own right. What's my boy's name? Nice went away from me. He played in Best Man. Was it Best Man? Yeah, Best Man.
Terrence Howard Jr.?
Yes, Terrence Howard.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a junior or not. I just said Terrence.
I think it's Terrence Howard. But he's talking about frequencies and things of that nature more. And the frequencies also tie into the food aspect. The heavier you are, the more filled with heavy metals, that you are, the easier it is to be influenced by the frequencies out here from the cell phone towers and everything else that they're shooting the frequency through to make you move and act a certain way. That's something else me and you'll talk about offline. But there's a thing called basically sound therapy, sound healing. So when I feel a certain way in the house and I want to uplift the energy, I'll go through the room and do that. I have a rain. It symbolizes the sound of rain, so you can move it and kind of soothe you when you're a little too anxious or you feeling a certain way. I'm just trying to gather it right because I'm a klutz too, so I'll knock some stuff over real quick.
You say this is rain?
You gotta. It kind of sounds like flowing water. You gotta do it slow. Let me. Yeah. So you see how it.
Okay. Okay.
How you like that?
That's cool. I like it.
I have a rain stick and other.
And that's supposed to soothe you. Okay.
Other healing modalities that you through sound that I have tuning forks, things of that nature.
What's this?
This?
Yeah, this purple stuff.
This is lavender. I actually just went and picked this before I got here. So this is lavender, and I was gifting you some of the lavender to utilize while you're sleeping, and then I'm gonna make you a thing with eucalyptus and lavender, so you can put it in the shower. So it's sort of like aromatherapy. So that's
It's not like I know you don't do. I'm just asking. It's not like witchcraft, nothing like that. It's just.
Oh no.
Okay.
No, it's just you can sleep with it for like lavender helps you. It kind of calms you.
That's good.
I just picked it at a local farm.
Okay. So what I do, I just put it in something and sit it there, or
you can
walk
sit
around
in
like
a
this?
little. No, what are you trying to?
No, I don't know. I'm trying.
No,
I'm
you
trying
can just put in a little water to kind of keep it, alive, or either you can sleep with it. You could take it and you could take the buds off and put it in. Maybe if you could find a little cloth bag or something, and you can sleep with it. It's just like it's aromatherapy.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, like the eucalyptus and lavender is just to calm you down, but the eucalyptus is really good for kind of opening you up and stuff. And you put it in the shower and the steam.
Okay.
So it's like an aromatherapy session. These are all things to kind of calm you down, balance you out, and put you in a better mental space from being outside. I like to tell people your house is supposed to be your sanctuary. Because when you step outside, it's like war. I mean, it's so much going on outside. You don't have to be at war within yourself, but when you step outside, there's a lot going on. So when you come back into yourself, into your space, that's when you cleanse everything.
Talk about some of the environmental issues affecting the Black mental health or mental health in general.
The air, the water, contamination.
When you say the water, you like because I know like in South Carolina they got wells. Is that better than having the water through the water company in Augusta?
They got wells in Georgia.
So is that better or is that not better? Like when you say water, how that affecting in the air?
Water is better. I mean, because when you're hooked up to certain systems, and say for instance, like there were just reports on the water system being contaminated in a certain place in America. And if you're hooked up to that, you're susceptible to whatever it was contaminated with. But if you have your own water source that you're making sure is tested and treated, the proper way, you don't have those issues. But if they're putting certain toxins and chemicals in the water, then it's coming out on your skin through bathing, in showers, and then if you're cooking with it, if you're eating it, if you everything. I mean, if you're using it to cook, or you're cleaning with it, whatever, it's contaminated. So that starts to affect your body. So it's going to affect your mind as well if you're drinking contaminated water. It's just like Flint. I mean, it don't even, it's all you got to say is Flint.
Yeah. I wanted to try to make I wanted to try to make the connection when we talk about mental health and how this affecting the environmental. But like when you say the water and it's contaminated and then it comes out in your skin, right? Is that affecting mental health because of how you might be feeling about how your skin looking now, or is it just more so?
Yeah, that's another issue. It could affect your skin. The way you look can affect you.
Yeah, the way you think too. Yeah.
And the way you think about yourself, or you feel like others think about you, can affect you. So that can be one aspect of it. But I was more so talking about, I like how you brought that back to balance, because that's exterior and interior. I was more talking about internal.
Interior. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so so some of the stuff you're saying is just internally, and so like when you said air. So how does air affect you mentally if
it's more pollution in the air and toxins? A lot of people start forming cancers. There are certain areas that are heavily, inundated with things that make you have cancer. There's a high cancer rate in that area. I personally think Augusta's a toxic place, like a bowl full of toxins.
Why you say that?
From the environmental standpoint, and I won't get into it online, but I have done some work with some environmental folks around here. So it's very toxic. I mean, look at the plants that they have here. There's plants everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
The water gets infected, contaminated, the soil. Therefore, if you're tilling up the soil and you're putting food in it, the food's now contaminated. It's just a whole thing, which is why I really advocate for raised beds or container gardening now, or hydroponics and things of that nature, because they've damaged our soil. They've damaged the water. They've damaged the soil. There are places in America that they don't even broadcast, but I know because I'm in the loop of that area. But there's other places that have had train crashes with certain chemicals on them, and the water's been contaminated, but nobody's talking about it. So when you contaminate the water, the food, the air, it does affect the person's mind, body, and soul and spirit. It's going to affect all of that. So a lot of places that are low income or heavily melanated are high contamination areas.
But I guess, I don't know if you know why, but like why those areas, and why wouldn't it be like the more upper class areas? Why would it be only those areas? Is it by design? Is it the sewage? Is it?
It's all by design. Even in my hometown, and when I learned what was back there, I was like, "That's crazy." But in the Black community, there's this big old pool called a cesspool. So just deduce what goes into the cesspool from the town, but it's right behind, across the way from my great aunt's house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in a heavily Black community or Black neighborhood.
So like, and I know we spoke about it briefly, talking about everything, what you feed your mind, your body, and your soul. I want to know, like, if you can, like, when you think about the soul, like, what are some things you think you can feed your soul that will have you with mental health issues, or just not an issue, just mental health having? Yeah, I guess you can say issue, but I don't make sense. It got to be problematic all the time. Can we think of mental health? It's a positive to mental health as well. Like you can have a positive outlook on things because you are open to other perceptions. You're open to other ideas that the world can be this way, or that this can happen this way. And you're not, let's say you're from the projects or whatever, but you still are always open to like other ways of doing things.
In it, not of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. I like that.
Not of it. You can be in it, not of it. That's why I said that any class, you can be in it, not of it. Whether it's lower class, middle class, upper class, in it, not of it.
So I do know I'm not gonna have a lot of audio from that part, but we spoke about some things as it relates to whether it was King Von and just the sexy res and music and the message and the pushing and all the agendas, and how it can stem from You know, sometimes you might be from the projects and you feel like you're a product of the environment, but you just said something that made sense. The whole in it, not of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, product of my environment. You know what I'm saying? We talk how that outlook can mess you up because you can be at a different point in your life, but because you feel like you're a product of your environment, you acting as if you lived here still, but you up here now. You need to act accordingly.
And that's why
not
I say
personally,
some people,
but just your decision making, the things,
Yeah.
your behavior.
Yeah.
What you was taught there. Not saying you can't take everything with you, but some of that stuff is only for that.
It's only
to
for that
survive
area.
here.
It's only reserved for that space.
So when you say, and then that's of it. So that's a product of my environment. You can do that if you're there in that environment, right? But when you say, well, I was a product in my environment, I feel like that's been, it was. I was this way, right? I was this way. I'm here now. I was a product of that. I mean, yeah, I was a product in that. I'm not a product of that. You know what I'm saying?
And people don't understand that you have now done something big because you have broken a generational curse and gotten out of that cycle. And so for you to go somewhere else and continue the same foolishness is a slap in your ancestors' face and the creator's face. They help you get out of that space.
Definitely, and I feel like because I know a lot of stuff you're saying. I think we're saying the same thing because it's a revolving thing. It's like it go around. You could talk about the internal aspect of things, right? But that's also because what going out, what's going in is coming out at the end of the day. So if that's internally, whether it's the air, the pollution, you know, the water being messed up, or you living in the projects, and now on the outer scale, you know, you got this in front of you. You know, it's drug dealing. You got peer pressure to do bad things, you know, peer pressure to feel like you're in survival mode. And now you're doing things that really is going against your better judgment. But it's your better judgment right now because you feel like if I get that, then I can just do this, you know? And it's an ongoing issue. You mentioned about your home needing to be like peaceful and things of that nature.
Yeah,
because when you go outside, it's war.
That's why I have all this. This is the incense, the lavender, is all aromatherapy. It's all to just kind of keep you in a space of just calmness as much as you can be. It's a part of taking care of yourself. It's a part of taking care of your spirit and your soul because there's a lot that is going on outside. And sometimes people want to bring that inside. They want to bring it into your house. But your house should be your sanctuary. So that should always be your place of peace. Because you already got to go to war when you step out the door.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's so many people battling mental illness of all hues that you kind of got to be ready for anything.
Anything
Not walk in fear, but be aware and be alert of things. And situational awareness will save your butt. You know what I mean? So you don't want to carry that back home. You kind of want to go home and chill. That's why a lot of people, there was a YouTube guy that said, "Wow, where are the homebody women at home?" You know, and the women were like, "We at the house." Like, and you know, he want to go where we normally, some of us go, and I ain't going to throw no stores out there because I don't, I like to keep my spaces hidden so I can just go and get out peacefully. But another guy came on and said, those people only go outside to make inside better, so they don't have to go outside.
But, you know, it's funny because speaking of the inside-outside thing, I know we mentioned that a while ago, too, with the sexy red thing, too. But a lot of times that be what it be, too. Like, not saying that, you know, you outside of the term now. It's the term is like you doing whatever you want to do, pretty much.
Oh.
So it's a term. Women say, "Oh, we outside this summer," meaning like,
I be out the door every summer.
I ain't got no man. I ain't.
Oh, that's what that.
I mean, okay. So outside is like, okay. So you remember how you saw Sexy Red and we was like had this on Pound Town, Thug 'em Arounds, whatever. You know, doing it. Her music, play like this. The music that you've heard of her, right? That will be outside theme music. That makes sense. It would be the soundtrack to being outside. I'm trying to be fair. Because that's what it is. Like it's just the behaviors. I mean, but I say we talk about what you feed your mind, your body, and soul. And I talked about it earlier. You know, like yes, you can't blame the music. You can't blame Sexy Red. You can't blame the music. But you mentioned I thought was super super key. You would say you can blame, well, not blame, but you can bet
I blame
it's hidden hands.
The hidden hands, I blame them
that
because
are
they
pushing because they
orchestrated.
orchestrating things.
Oh, yeah.
So I might have an Instagram page. I might have 5 of them with a million here, million here, million here. We pushing this song, this agenda, this theme. We're gonna push that to get this out.
Mhm.
Well, get to know people. They sharing it. They sharing it. They sharing it. Now it's a thing. Okay, cool. We got them. It's music. So you the thing you was doing.
Mhm.
We gonna keep doing that. How many times you don't like a song when you like a song after a while? It's just they keep playing it. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's programming.
But then also it's like, well, let's also get her in this. Let's get her on this show. Let's get her on this platform. Let's get her to perform here. Let's get her to do that.
Yeah.
And that's just not her. It's just the music and the message, right? And so I had the example earlier when I was saying, like, you have a woman who's a homebody per se, whatever, start listening to music. People don't just change sometimes. People think people just change. Oh, you change. Well, it's a lot of things that go into that. I'm not blaming music, but we also mentioned how music is influential. It can influence things you do, decisions you make, not because it's the person and not because it's the music. It's what you feed in your mind, your body, and your soul. And so you have people who kind of, they ruin their life, and it's not because of music, because what they fed their soul, whether it's they chose to, they live in a project, they stay in a project, they want to do project things or life, well, that also comes with incarceration. Okay, majority of the times. So music wise, what you
Even
said,
not in the projects, if they
anywhere
or anywhere with that, the problem is the psyche.
Yeah,
It's the psyche because you can shift in any environment. It's just got to be within you to have that discipline and to have that be okay with shame. Be okay with somebody trying to shame you for not wanting to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? For walking your own path. It's for being the weird one, or you ain't cool, or you ain't this. You got to be okay with that in order to make it in any situation, in any environment. That's, so I think the Black community as a whole, and the reason I'm speaking on the melanated community is because we're melanated. I can't speak for others, even though I see what goes on in their communities too, from every level as well.
I think a key factor, and correct me if I'm wrong, a key factor in when you think of mental health, we think of what we're correlating to mental health. When you think of unhealthy things, so if it's unhealthy music, because the thoughts and what the message is, unhealthy music, we ain't got to say names, just say unhealthy music. If it's unhealthy behaviors, whether it's wanting to sell drugs, rob, steal,
it automatically gets routed back to the Black community.
But I was going to say also unhealthy eating habits, unhealthy eating in general. But I was going to say a lot of the stuff that we mentioned, unhealthy, I think the push with that is because we make it accessible. Let's make it super accessible.
That's what I meant by it's that part of that subculture of the part of the melanated community is the one that's being pushed. It's so easy to get.
And if it's healthy, let's make it expensive.
Oh yeah. If it's healthy, let's make it expensive. If it's good to elevate you, let's make it not really known. Let's hide it. Let's
make it rare.
Let's make it very rare because
let's not speak on it.
Yeah,
let them find it. Don't let them find them.
Yeah, for just as many unhealthy musicians we have in the BC, we have healthy ones as well. But you gotta search for them. You gotta go find them because they're not being pushed out there. There's a guy named Free Soul, and if you listen to him, I mean, you'll be up there. There's so many different avenues that we have, but you have to, like you said, accessibility. So if it's more accessible to get the unhealthy music, the unhealthy food, that's an easier route. So a lot of people might not want to do the hard work of going over here.
Good. The hard work. That's another thing too that affects the community or human health. Not wanting to be disciplined, not wanting to put the work in. Because we mentioned this one earlier, like eating healthy is a disciplined behavior. You have to really be disciplined because
yes, it is.
You see, I'm drinking soda. Okay.
Oh, but you know what though?
I stopped drinking so much.
I asked you earlier. I said, "What is that, a Pepsi?" Because I secretly want one. Drink enough of this, you won't have to wear deodorant.
See, I don't know about that now. That you know, I ain't gonna lie. I like I like learning new things.
I didn't
and-
say not wear it. I just said you if you forget it, you'll be all right. But I ain't say not wear it.
You know that I remember Erica Badu said something like that one time, where it's like how she operate her life or how she live and eat. She don't have to put deodorant every day, and they were like, "Oh God, you stink." That's what they were saying about it. We don't know that obviously, but I don't know. I don't like. I feel like I got deodorant. I'm sweating now. I feel like I'm
I
glad
still
put
wear
light
it.
on.
I wear deodorants with like not as many
You talk about
not the
mental health.
toxins in it.
Yeah.
So I can I make my own sometimes.
Mhm.
And if I'm being lazy, I'll go get the ones that are, non-aluminum, different things like the more natural based deodorants. But I'm gonna wear it because I'm outside. I don't care how much chlorophyll water I
All right,
drink.
now you outside or you just saying you outside planting? Like, what you-
I don't see. I'm glad you said it. I'm out the door doing nature activities.
Let me crank it up. There we go.
I do not want to be lumped in with them outside
There we go.
at all.
There we go.
I'm outside doing nature activities, okay? I'm in my natural element when I'm out the door. I'm cooling in nature. I ain't
You gotta specify
doing
these
all.
days.
Yeah,
There's
you
a lot
do.
going on.
I don't want to be tied in. I know people be
So you're
like,
not outside
oh,
thugging with your rounds. You're not doing that. It's
no,
not- okay.
I don't even have rounds. I have Soul Tribe members. But I don't even have rounds. And if we outside, we somewhere in nature.
That's funny.
Trying to get more grounded and centered and figured out our next move on making it through this capitalistic system and still holding our integrity in place.
I do want to make a point because I know I lost that bit of it, but I want to kind of bring that one point back too because we mentioned it earlier. Just with the music, because I know when I get to the interior stuff as well, I want it to make sense when we flow. I'm gonna have to change some stuff up, but
Yeah.
we also mentioned the fact that at first I didn't understand what you were saying when you said music. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, but you know how you said you can tell when somebody is how they feel, how they get about defensive. So when you said it, you're like, I'm like Kanye. I'm like whatever, music. Cause I always been a person I don't want to blame music for certain things, right? But then you start thinking about your life and think about yourself. And I told you, well, I'm also a sociology major, right? So in sociology, it tells you that. It tells you like the environment, it really shapes you. I don't care what you say, it shapes you.
I took it in college.
It's the best time to take it. And it shapes you. And one thing, and this is nothing to do with mental health per se, but one thing that I remember from my notes, I always kept my notes. They said it's either 12 or 13, one of them ages. Whatever music from that time, that's almost like the theme music to your life. Meaning like you'll never forget it. You cannot hear it for 20 years. You're gonna remember it because that age.
It's embedded in your embedded in your DNA now. It's in your codes.
So I said to say we can sit here and try to act like as if, music and messages don't matter and it doesn't play an effect on this. Because first time somebody's gonna say, I've been that person. So you mean tell me that this person only killed that person because listen to this music? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that verbatim, right? But I know when people try to argue, they break down what you're saying. So I want to make sure I run that back when I say that. I was like, younger me, I wanted to make a connection with my pops. I had to make a connection somehow. Well, he listens to a lot of rap music.
You found a way to bond, even though it was
Through rap.
not a great, it was a somewhat.
I want us to have something in
I think
common.
it was I was going to say it was a negative bond, but there's a bit of positive in it as well because you still made the bond. It just went through, I guess you could say, very positive means.
It wasn't through because now the bond wasn't the initial mindset, right? But I realized we bonded over that. So let me clarify that. We bonded over that. It wasn't the initial goal, but that's how it happened. So it was a negative bond because I didn't feel like we bonded when I was singing Mary J. Blige songs. I'm my mama's boy. But the minute I started to be on rap and rap and had it mixtapes and know the song word for word, we could bond more. He's telling me stories now. Mind you, this is because his life is a little different. It's no reason to tell me them stories when I'm singing Beyonce and Mary J. Blige and Destiny's Child and stuff, right? And so, I'm trying to paint something, so I'm going somewhere with this. So it's like, you look at that. So no, you can't blame music per se. Not yet. All right, cool. But then I also say, I feel like things happen to you sometimes. So as a kid, I always was good. Then, you have a event, a situation that happened. you're like, damn, the world is for real.
Mm-hmm.
So that now it's your first thing, whether it's something violent, whatever. Boom, it happened to me. Boom, damn. I'm really kind of grown now. Things can happen to me, right? Well, you become a product of your environment because it happened to you. Instead of you thinking about how it made you feel, you do it to somebody else now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's your turn because now
They want to pass the baton of trauma.
I say that to say like, I remember when 50 Cent came out, it changed my life. Because it's not like he told me to do something, but I thought what he was saying and stuff was so cool. I wanted to see like, how does that feel to do this?
No, he told you to do something.
He just didn't tell me specifically. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't tell you.
He told me what he would do.
He didn't tell you individually, but he told you to do
pretty
something.
much. Because they pushing a gangster.
I get what you're saying because it's almost like you want to absolve them from their part in it, but I just can't because they still played a part in it. I just
make something like he told like, I'm writing this down for Jermaine. No. But he did write it down. And in the visual, he's painting the picture. It's art. It's art.
Yeah.
He's painting the picture. He wants you to see this.
Art imitates
if you're
life.
going to be this, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. Because now they're painting, he's the, America's top gangster, whatever, they say. Oh, you want to be, and that's what that was cool at the time.
And you know what's funny? Talking about 50 is King Von actually said the same thing, that he was one of his idols, but he came back quickly, and this is being self-aware and alert, and I don't even think he knew what he was doing at the time, but he said, yeah, but I don't want to be like 50. 50 got shot 9 times. He was able to be like, I don't want that part.
I want to do the shooting.
Yeah. No, I didn't say that about that little fella,
but so
but yeah,
I said to say, I learned terms through the music, so I can sit here and say, hey, this is not wild, but I didn't know what jukes mean. That's mean rob somebody. So now
I didn't. Wait. You said juke?
It's called catch a jukes. Like you rob somebody. That's what I mean. Like we gonna catch a
Must
play.
be some up north stuff.
Yeah, it's up north term. Okay. So down here it'll be like a lick. Yeah, catching a lick. But you learn that through context clues.
Yeah, I learned that through
whatever
music and
people your environment. Yeah,
did those type of things. I guess, but
you start to do things right. Okay. Then, I feel like I started to have a deeper connection with my dad because of this music. He also started to view you a certain way. Now we having different conversations. You know what I'm saying? Through the music. I'm singing this song, he's singing this song. Oh, you know this song? I can tell him about a situation when he had a shootout. I had this thing. I wasn't getting that before. But in my mind, subconsciously, like these are all benefits to me at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm cool. Anybody bother me? I ain't playing. Not that I'm 50 Cent. But I'll be on that type of time if I need to be. So now I'm feeling untouchable too at the same time. So but become a product of your environment, because that's the music he had at the time was the theme song to How to Survive Here. Even though he damn near died, but How to Survive Here, which is really, when you think about it, subconsciously, like I said, it's like not really the best person to be thinking about because he almost died. But then, like you said, you become attracted to something. You're attracted to the fact that damn, you know what? But he made it. He a millionaire now. You know what I'm saying? So it's still that thing of like, it's beauty in what we might be going through. They said the term beauty in the struggle, which also is a trap term too, but that's because it makes you stay in the struggle sometimes. You know?
I'm very funny about little catchphrases and things of that nature. Because once again, I told you words hold power, and I'm funny about what I say about certain stuff, and I don't even like the word struggle in anything I'm trying to do. For me, I feel like either I'm going to moonwalk into that thing or I'm going to slide into that thing. I don't want to struggle to do nothing, because even just growing up, existing in this country with our paint job, it's always been heightened for us. That's why I take the time to calm down. So I don't like even the beauty in the struggle. I understand and I get that, they finally made it. But for me, you got to look at all they went through and what they had to do and what they had to give up and what part of them they had to sell to get where they're at. But that's the thing, like, it's kind of like the thing with me and certain, like, content. You know what I mean? Content creators, even with the internet, it's affecting a lot of people's mental health right now. And I know because I watch certain podcasts or a video pop up, and I'm like, what's this? Apparently, I need to see it. So, I watch it and be like, oh wow, I didn't know that was going on, in the internet world. But it's got people, the whole aesthetics thing. I hate that whole term because I feel like you're trying to wear something that's not yours.
Yeah.
It's on you, not in you. And it kind of makes certain people depressed when they don't have what others have online and things of that nature. And all of that starts to affect your mental health. The music, the movies, the TV shows, the content creators, the influencers, all of it is playing a major part on not only the melanated community psyche, but the entire freaking world. And so that's a big thing for me.
When you said movies, I didn't think about movies because we talk entertainment so much. We meant to play the music with Sexy Red and all that, but
predictive programming all through
and
up
not
and
to
down.
diss him, but I seen something the other day and it was just funny to me when I seen it. It was like Tyler Perry might have a film with Taraji P. Chill out, man. Let me get it out. They said Tyler Perry about to have a film with Taraji P. Henson starring about a single black mom struggling. I said, but goddamn, like that's every Tyler Perry movie it seemed like. So
he is the
when you talk about pushing,
he hold that thing till he can't hold it no more. Every single movie, it's like they can't never have a good, successful movie without a black woman. That's what I mean. And so for me, I'm not even in that space. If with the women I know, the melanated women I know, even if we are having some slight issues, we don't call it a struggle. We pivot and figure out another thing to do. Mm-hmm. Like we don't even put that energy over us. Like right now, I'm a single woman with children, and I used to say single mom, and I had an elder black man tell me, one of our elders, he said to me, stop calling yourself that. You were once married, so you divorced. You were once engaged, so now you don't have a fiance anymore, but you held both titles. So now you're a single woman with children. Do not put that energy over yourself. That's what I mean by words hold power, and what you put over yourself. And for him, it's constant struggle. It is constant struggle. Somebody's son on drugs or selling them. Somebody got 24 baby mamas. They struggling. The woman husband cheating on her. He done beat her. It's the same mess. And people, the problem I have with people is, how can you not see this? And then they defend. My problem with the black community, I don't care if I get flack for it, is it defends too much wrong, and it don't defend enough right.
Talk about it. I like that.
They defend who's popular, but they don't defend who's right. They can be popular and all wrong. That's just like free my no. What nut do? He shot 34. Keep him in there. Like why are we? Like no, you want to glorify.
Yo, you gotta relax. That's the mental health issue for real. The fact you want him free, something wrong with your mental health.
You want to free this psycho? Like, I don't care what his paint job is. Keep his butt in there. Lock him down.
Oh, boy, that's funny.
No. So it's for me, I see too much wrong being glorified, and they would damn near fight you to the death over it. That's why I say I no longer get mad at folks that don't want to change their eating habits, because I'm in wellness. I'm not going to fight with you over your healing. If you want to heal, I'm here. If you don't, then you don't. And even if when you do get ready to heal, if I don't feel like dealing with you, I ain't. I'll tell you somebody else to go to. I ain't going to leave you hanging. Or depending on the situation, I might just be like, nah, I'm not even going to let you back in my energy at all. But they defend so much bad stuff, and they don't want to hear any accountability at all. I don't care what white folks do. They going to do what they going to do, period.
All the time, 24/7.
24/7. It's been happening. It's going to continue to happen until they have a shift and a change in what they need to change. I'm focused on the folks that look like me because I get lumped into y'all's bull. Okay? You get what I'm saying? And I have done everything since a child not to be grouped with foolishness on either side.
Yeah.
Black, white, purple, green, I don't care. I don't want to be in your mix. So that's why I'm glad you corrected me about the I'm outside. Because I'm quick to say I'm outside, but I'm outside in the garden or like chasing a waterfall somewhere or hiking or something of that nature. I'm not out twerking on these headlights or whatever Glorilla said.
She is outside, not to get confused with the slang term, new term of outside. She's literally outside, like literally outside.
And let me put this out there for you girlies that like to be outside. Don't come for me now. I'm not judging y'all. That's what y'all like to do. Go for it. I tell everybody, whatever your vice is, you got to pay for that. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Just for me, I'm not in that energy. And I can't be because my kids are always watching. My babies are always watching, and they hold me accountable. I'm taking homeschool children or something else. Okay, they're a different breed. These new ones anyway are different. They're coming out more aware of stuff. That's why you have to be alert and cautious with what they ingest and take in.
Yeah.
And I can't tell them you can't do this, but they see me doing this. I mean, if I even turned on Sexy Red, my children would be like, something is wrong with mama. Like, do we need to call somebody? Like,
that's funny.
No, you know what I mean? So it's for me until the BC starts holding themselves accountable and stop.
Oh, BC is black community.
Yeah.
Man, I thought you were saying because.
Jesus Christ. Black community. I like to call it melanated because in law, legal terms, black means dead. So that's why I don't really like using the term black. I like to use melanated. Once you start getting into Black's Law,
is that not true? How would you say that? How would you?
I feel like it's a dead community.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
That's why I said to breathe life back into it, to revitalize it, revive it. It's a dead community. Look at how, the underbelly, I don't care if y'all get mad, the underbelly part of the community is showing their hind parts. And we had people that marched and got sprayed with water hoses and bit with dogs and all kind of manner of madness. Even on my square, there are trees that they hung black folks from. And this is the thanks they get for the way they walk before you. And we've always had classes within every society, but back then we moved a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. People cared how they looked when they walked out the door. There was a certain energy, and that's why them folks up there in that, I think it's 14 square miles up that way, DC area, did what they did and pushed what they pushed is because we were more unified during a more chaotic time and tumultuous time for black people in America. Now, ain't that some crazy foolishness? Yeah, we got all this freedom now. Yeah. And y'all don't even move how they moved back then. The Black Wall Street is being created. All the communities coming together. The families coming together. The women still badder than a mug, but not naked. You got to be naked to be pretty, to feel good. Like, it's weird to me.
I can't attest to, I can't combat anything you're saying because you're not saying anything wrong. I see people try to explain, what they're doing and why they're doing it. And, of course they're going to chalk it up. It's my life, it's my body. And that's, what can you do? I can't do nothing about that, right? But you make a good point as the fact that, things change over time. Not to say there wasn't mental health issues back then, but it probably was. But you're in a world of inequality, And, so that's one. But imagine if that's the only problem, what I'm saying?
But how is it now? And I talked to my buddy about this, and we definitely gonna talk about it offline. It's almost like a spell has been cast over the black community by the powers that shouldn't be. And you want to talk about witchcraft, they witches and warlocks, okay? Because how is it that we had a stronger constitution back then as a group of people, as individuals, than we do now, when you could get hung for just looking at a white person wrong or saying the wrong thing or looking your best and they just feel a certain way about it. How did we have a stronger constitution back then, but we this weak now? And can't nobody say nothing to you to correct you? Back then we had shame. You get your butt whooped by 3-4 people before you even get home.
But that go back to what you were saying about just environmental issues, like not the internal thing you're talking about when you're talking about the water and the air. It could be the air still, the air and things like that. But it's really just the factors around you.
It's more the frequencies and the
frequency.
It's more the frequencies and things of that nature.
When you say frequency, though, like when we talk about frequency, I'm not actually defining it per se, but like give me an example, because it can mean different things. I'm assuming, right? When you say frequency, or you just mean it in one way only. I'm thinking frequency, could it be something where it could be an idea that a group of people just hold? Is that a frequency at all? Or is that not it? Like, what you mean when you say frequency?
Okay, so like the radio station, there's a certain frequency that's put out.
The actual term then, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a certain frequency that's putting out.
Okay, hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, so to what you were saying, that makes sense. So if it is like the sounds and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just take this for example. Imagine you in the area, not just like a group, but projects, whatever. Just use that for example. Projects, but you keep hearing the same sentiments.
Mm-hmm.
That could become a frequency, I guess. Not in so many terms.
The same music at a certain level.
Yeah.
Like some people play music at 432 hertz. 440 hertz, 532 hertz, 174 hertz. Is different hertz for different things.
Yeah.
And so if you hear music at a certain hertz, that's going to keep you at a lower frequency than you need to be. And then if you have things coming off the cell phone towers, those are frequencies. Excuse me. Once again, I told you, we are filled with heavy metals. Just from walking outside is stuff in the air, stuff in the water, things of that nature. So if you don't clean those heavy metals out every, now and then, whether it's 21 days, it's 3 months, it's however long you feel necessary to do it for you, you're gonna be hit harder with those type of things, and it will affect your mind. If you're not high enough to, I guess kind of cancel out the noise.
Yeah.
You just you take in the noise. You internalize the noise. You sometimes don't even know how to deal with the noise, and then now you lashing out at other people around you that are dealing with the same noise you dealing with, in a certain sense.
So I'm glad you broke it down that way, because like when I'm even when we say the hertz, like even now we're recording, it's 440 hertz when we're recording right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of you hearing the same things over and over again, let's say the same tone. Let's just say the same tone. There's some kind of correlation to the frequency there, where it's like now that message also is getting to you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna keep going back to it, the whole product of my environment thing. You hear somebody, you have one person gives an excuse. You're like, he right though. Like I live out here, it's all up, ain't nothing else to do. I might as well get down and do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using the first term I could think of. So when you mentioned how things are now today versus how I was back then, it's all in the frequency. The frequency was different back then too. The music was different back then. The
it was a higher
frequency.
Then. Earth, Wind, and Fire always had a higher frequency playing. That's why the music is live like that.
But it also wasn't music saying, it wasn't really negative music like that. And I'm not blaming music, once again.
Some of it was negative, but see, this is where these people don't understand art. Because there were subtle ways they put certain things in songs. It just wasn't as blatant. You actually had to use your mind to figure it out. Like Joe, one of Joe's songs, I just really figured out what he was talking about and had to clutch my invisible pearls. Yeah, Joe.
Which Joe, the black singer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a certain song. He say a certain line about Subway, this, that, and I was like, oh, okay. But they actually made you use your mind. Even with Lil Wayne back in the day, you really had to figure something out. With Wayne, he was going to activate that thought process. Yeah. Like, wait, hold up. He said, now it's just like beat your head in the board, beat you down. It's crazy. Like the music now be like, what? Yeah. Like, so it's an art form, and they're not art. That's why I said they're not artists to me. They're just rambling off something. It's an art to it. And if you know how to put, that's why I got into a little debate with another guy that wanted to talk about rap music, and I said, now I'm going to hold our black artists accountable. I said, but as somebody that listens to country, you're not going to tell me they don't talk about violence and drugs and women. I said, because I listen to it. And they do. It's just in little small innuendos and certain words they use. But I know exactly what they're saying.
Well, you got to think about, I hate to use this person because I know we talked in the beginning, but you think about even when music goes to a certain level where it's like, it's so undeniable that becomes an actual phrase and term and a way people may live. So I use Diddy as an example, but All About the Benjamin was so big that became a thing. It's a movie now. It's also a movie title behind it. It's like pretty much I'm all about my money. That's the thing. But that also becomes
big capitalism push.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just a bunch of that stuff. You think about the 70s when it was getting high and stuff. Of course, Temptations, Cloud 9. It's a big song. You might know what they're talking about. I'm doing fine up here on Cloud 9. One more time.
Another reason I said I don't really not miss Red. Is because Millie Jackson from Thompson, Georgia. Ooh, that thing went nice.
What's that?
Her songs.
Oh, okay, music.
Ooh, talk about explicit. So we've had it for a very long time. It's just reached its boiling point at this point.
Well, I remember, and I'm not trying to take it there too heavy, but I remember like when Lil' Kim came out and it wasn't totally accepted, we accept it. She
still had a certain level of decorum though,
but she had no choice because it wasn't fully accepted from everybody, right? It was cute in some, it was not classy to some others, but now class is a new. That's what I like,
and that's what I mean. For a woman that has class or wants to walk in that light, she's shunned now.
It's
a problem.
You're boring, you're not fun, you're boring.
We're hating all of a sudden. And I'm like, I'm not hating on nobody that can walk around outside half naked or almost naked. I'm not. I'm wondering, that's some confidence right there. You got some confidence. That's what's up. Because I ain't even if I have the confidence, I'm just not doing it because everything ain't for everybody. But I miss seeing the women that used to dress just bad. They're bad women in fully clothed. You could take a black woman, put her in a pantsuit, and she is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they don't promote the fully dressed women. They don't promote the quirky black girls. They don't promote the nerdy black girls, the awkwards, who I kind of fall in a few of those categories, but they don't promote that. They promote the debauchery, and the debauchery is okay, but one side is not okay. And I think it's crazy because they'll turn and say that this side is hypocritical, but they're doing the same thing. So it's like, basically, I guess you could all say everybody's hypocritical, but I just see it as observing things and something in your spirit know it ain't right. Like, it just don't feel right. You know what I mean? Not even that you know it ain't right, because what's really right and what's really wrong, but it don't sit well with you. Like, that's not something you want to see for the future. Like, I grew up around black women that I thought were just regal. You know what I mean? Just straight royalty. And they never had to show any skin. They never had to curse. They never had to do any of that. And that power they held me in a certain energy. It kept me straight. Mm-hmm. It kept me from wanting to cut up. And they didn't have to raise their voice. They didn't have to cuss. They didn't have to do any of that. It was that feminine power they had. And they really knew how to wield that power in the right way. And it had us little girls wanting to emulate them. So they're the girls. There are so many different layers of people in each class, whether it's in low income, middle income, poverty, projects, hood, not hood, middle class neighborhood, upper class neighborhood. There's so many different people because you got people at the top that are batshit crazy. You know what I mean? But their green covers that a little bit. You know what I mean? Versus somebody that doesn't have that green that wouldn't cover it.
Right.
But they're still mentally on the same level. You get what I'm saying? So there's different levels to all of this stuff. But for me, I'm just sick of seeing the underbelly or the subculture of the Black community being glorified. And I'm not the only one. I'm so glad to see more of us speaking out against it now. And I'm like, to the point now, we'll just stop talking about it and start showing and pushing. Start showing more Simone Biles. We got gymnasts, we got doctors, we got lawyers, we got all of this apart from just being a rapper and a singer.
Yeah.
But also to back that up, we got new rappers and singers. Some of them ain't even new. They've been on the scene for a long time. That are gonna feed your soul, that are gonna edify your spirit. Instead of having you doing some foolishness and letting these entities take over you to do crazy crap to not only yourself, but to the people that look like you. The DV rate in the Black community is off the charts.
Domestic violence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's every 4.5 hours. And it's less than that in South Africa, where a Black male is killing a Black woman some kind of way. And I think it's a lot going on. But that part is the one that's really glorified. And then you got the mix-up, and I might get some flack for this, but I don't care. But you got the mix-up of the quote-unquote, I would say, I don't even want to say good girls, but the girls that were raised a certain standard, wanting to get with men that were not raised to be men or a certain standard. And now they're getting mixed up with these type of individuals and getting taken off this earth realm. Mm. And they have a mission to do. Their parents sacrificed for them to have certain things and be accessible to certain resources for them. And then they're tying themselves to somebody that doesn't have any of that. So now it's just a pull because that's his resource. That's his lifeline now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And vice versa. It could be a male that grew up a little bit more privileged, and then he's attaching himself to a girl that's not, it's not meshing well.
I think too a lot of stuff you were saying, like to bring everything kind of full circle too. You mentioned, of course, the what you eat. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The stuff you eat, whether eating unhealthy versus not eating healthy. Choosing to use plant-based, you know what I'm saying? Creating your own food or making your own food from scratch. The stuff you feed in your body. So the stuff you eat, the intake, the water, the pollution, is all intake. But then we also talked about the same thing on the outer side, the fundamental side, like the music you listen to. You're feeding your body musically. You're feeding your body with frequencies. You're feeding your body with messages, with thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Messages.
With environmental things that seem to be cool to do around, whether you're outside, all the stuff we talk about all go into the same thing. Music, message, is stuff that you feeding yourself. And it's kind of mentally is ruining our community. Mentally is messing up our community. It's affecting our decision making. It's making us make poor decisions, or not making decisions at all. We need to make a decision or something, It's just a lot of things that we're not doing because of the stuff that we are intaking, rather. And that goes from whether it's the food, stuff you can consume, or whether it's music, stuff you can consume, whether it's messages, whether it's talking, people you around, hang around, your environment, product of, and all that type of stuff. So everything we talk about is not really just to be talking about it. It's really just because that's kind of the stuff that really affects your mental health when it comes down to decision making, waking up every day, being consistent, having a good day versus having a bad day, your health. So your mental health is going to be affected by your actual health. You'd be depressed if you can't hold nothing down, or you got cancer because you ate the wrong foods, or you got some kind of
ailment, and that's where they get mad at people. And the reason I'm speaking on this is because I research stuff before I speak on it, because I want to get it as right as I can. You know what I mean? But there's so many women that say, because I look at a lot of weight loss journeys, things of that nature, and there are women and men that say when they started losing weight and making the conscious decision to eat more healthy and and they stopped having certain ailments, their buddies were their biggest oppositional forces. They were their biggest oppositional forces. They were their biggest, I don't like using the word haters because it's so watered down now, but they were the ones that just turned on them. But then again, it had to be something already in them folks that felt a certain way about you before you really started elevating. People can see your greatness sometimes before you can. People can see your determination sometimes before you can. So, yeah, a lot of people with ailments and things of that nature, somebody that's close to me got mad because I could eat grapefruit and they can't because of a certain medication they're on. And I went and opened their freezer and there's nothing but pork in there. And I said, well, if you get off all this, you can have a grapefruit.
Yeah.
But you mad at me because I can eat a grapefruit. How crazy is that?
But even when you think about the idea of what frequency actually means, and you think about what it means, right? Mm-hmm. And you talk about how we need to eat better and stuff like that, that's also a frequency as well. Because every time you go to a cookout, every time you go to a black person's house to eat dinner, every time y'all go out, y'all eating steak and pork and
heavy. You're going to be heavy. You're going to be sleepy. Exactly. That's where the itis come from.
But that's also why it's important to have that discipline, because if we know the community, that's what's prevalent in the community, eating those kind of foods and eating heavy and all that stuff that's unhealthy, it's going to be hard to break that if you staying around that all the time. Anyway.
That's like somebody that was on crack still hanging around crack-infested areas. It ain't going to work.
That's definitely the same thing, yes.
You got to have some strong discipline and not be touching none of that's going on or either anything around you.
I do got a big respect for people that's like vegan, that turn vegan, but can be around somebody that's eating like Popeyes and stuff. I got a good respect for them because it's so easy to be like, I want it because it smells good, It's juicy, it's chicken, So.
It's the same thing with people that will stop smoking green.
Yeah, marijuana.
They will stop smoking marijuana, and then they'll have somebody around them like, smoke this, but they know they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. That's not what they want to do. So you got to be like, no, I don't want that.
So
anymore.
Once again, like it all kind of ties into the fact that
it's about your constitution.
But it's all definitely about the Constitution, definitely 100%. But it's about that environment that you surround yourself in, because if you can't get away from something, you staying next.
Sometimes you got to get away from people, and then people will thank you. Oh, she thinks she better than us because she here. No, you thought I was better than you. You didn't think you was better than you.
Like that.
You didn't think you were better than you. You didn't think you were better than where you were at. I ain't had nothing to do with it. Yeah. I'm just moving and grooving how I'm supposed to move.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? So it ain't that I think I'm better or that I'm this. You wanted to keep me in a certain cage, and I can't be caged. Oppression does not feel good to me. It don't look good on me. I don't like it from nobody. So
when you talk about, because I want to kind of bring it home, and like you talk about, changing your environment. That's one. Like if there's any others you could think about, just as far as the stuff you talk about with the air pollution, water type stuff. When you think about solutions and ways to get back in balance, like with everything, to live a healthier lifestyle, eat healthier, in that, the healthier you are, the better mental health going to be.
Yeah.
So what are solutions you think, or that remedies or whatever, that we can kind of get things back on track, and not as a whole per se, but it's one at a time. If one person can do it, like what are some things somebody can do?
So individually, I would say get you somewhere that's fairly quiet. If you got kids, I understand, but get you somewhere. If you got a porch, let that porch be your therapy office. Get you somewhere, get a notebook and a pen or a pencil, and take inventory over your life. If you have to go all the way back to childhood, take it there. If you have to go back to your teen years, take it there. If you have to go back to your early adulthood years, take it there. But look over your life and see where you got it wrong.
Mm.
And see where you want to get it right. And then write down the steps to get it right. Take inventory and then you clean your house. Declutter your car. Declutter everything you got, clean your house, and then you figure out how to start cleaning your vessel up a little bit. And it ain't got to be a drastic change. You didn't just do it overnight. This is an ongoing thing. This has been years of accumulating things.
I would definitely, like, if I'm thinking off the top, like kind of going off what you said too, I would definitely say, you know, don't be afraid of change, because sometimes that change is often disguised because it's really growth. You know, so
it's evolution. That's
change can be in disguise, but
it's
it's just you're just growing. It's not growing to say you're better than a person. You're just a better person than what you were, and it's just your mindset will change. You'll have a different outlook on things, a wider outlook on things. We talked about the projects earlier and stuff like that, and don't think the projects and think only the projects. Take the projects we said and think of it as an example for entities. Because it could be a project, it could be middle class. I don't care. Middle class has their own problem as well. It's an issue with some middle class stuff that go on. Rich people, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
a lot of middle class stuff that goes on. They just sweep that way under the rug.
so I definitely just wanted to be known, like, it's more so not a one particular class thing, but as a race, we all got vices and things that we kind of struggle with. So don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to change your perspective. Don't be afraid to be a product in your environment and not of your environment, because that's important. I think that's the best phrase I heard in a long time. Definitely.
Yeah, you gotta be. You can be, there but not there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and that's every level, every class. It don't matter. You could be in the richest neighborhood ever, and it's gonna be some mess up in there somewhere, because of somebody's constitution is faulty with themselves. So you just have to take it day by day. And one thing I want to say, especially to for Black women, I suggest you listen to this lady named Lava, and I think she spells it Laava. Get on that type of time with yourself. If you are ashamed of certain stuff, because it's that shame. It ain't even the good shame that we had back in the day that'll keep you in, kind of in check.
Like embarrassed.
It's the shame for doing the right thing. That's what's crazy to me, is being shamed for doing, you don't want to be involved with debauchery.
Right.
So even if you have to, until you can break away from these people, because there will be some point in your life where there's a great pull away from the old folks that you knew, because they don't want to release you from the shackles that they're in themselves. So they want to keep you shackled with them.
Yep.
You ain't got to tell your homegirl you done start reading Atomic Habits or your homeboy that. You ain't got to tell nobody none of that mess. Just start doing what your spirit is calling you to do. If a certain video like that, something that's for advancement, pop up, a podcast, start looking into those things. You don't have to tell people your business at all. You really don't. Start getting out into nature. I don't care if it's a short walk on a nature trail. Start getting out there. Start looking at your grandparents and look back at what our elders and our ancestors went through, and ask yourself if you are making them proud or not, or if you are slapping them in their face. Ask yourself, and you know what? Take a trip to Montgomery, Alabama, to the Legacy Museum. It's free. Take a trip there. And then you tell me if what y'all are doing is okay.
Yeah.
Because of what our people went through, just to have the basic things as everybody else in America. Well, that's what bothers me.
I think that's what's important. I think we not probably factoring in is the fact that even in today's culture, which I'm talking this new when we talk about drill and being outside, just that the culture that derives from. But what's lacking is history and really knowing how we got to where we are. You know, they just there. They not really getting that full-fledged history of this person means this to that. I mean, you know your Malcolm X, your Martin Luther King, the popular ones, but it's so much more than that. You know, and
So
I think
many
when you
more.
don't know that, it's hard to respect it. It's also, you know, but we also talk about people who got like not people. We also talking about a group of or a community of people
Entities.
who have they don't have the most wide range of perspectives, wide range of
I like that.
of this can be, this is what is. It's not a wide range of that. They know what's in front of them. That's really honestly that's kind of the world we're living in right now, which is why we got so much mental health issues or mental health not going unchecked, going not spoken about, just not addressing. Is because we be so busy just focusing on what's in front of us that we're not really looking at, you know, where we came from. And it's just like, this is this and that's it. But that can't be it. You know, we got to find out why we got there, to know why it's important to move a certain way and act a certain way and behave a certain way. It's no shame because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? They don't know.
I would say that, but once again, I study. And I watch a lot of different posts where somebody will post something about a black inventor, and one of our non-melanated counterparts will get on there talking that foolishness. In our underbelly community, they come out in the droves. When it's time to go up against racism, they come out in the droves. They know everything then. So I'm not going to say that they're totally ignorant to the history. How can you be? Everybody know about slavery and everything that happened over here, and maybe they don't know much about the Reconstruction era or Jim Crow or things of that nature. But no, if you can come out in the droves for when one of them cut up, then you need to come out in the droves for when one of us cut up.
No, you're 100% right.
And we need to get some things in order from the top to the bottom of the black community.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. And the first step is to realize whatever issues you have. I wouldn't even claim too many stigmas under mental health because, once again, words are power. Sit with what you have going on, figure it out, write down solutions for it, find solutions. There are so many other healing modalities. Salt caves, floating devices they have.
Talk about the salt cave right there. What is that? What does that do?
That's halotherapy.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It cleanses your sinuses. It's a very calming experience.
Okay. They
have salt caves. They have I think it's water flotation. It's a little capsule you get in, but you float. They have cryotherapy. There's reflexology. There's massages. There's chiropractic care, acupuncture. There's all kinds of different things to start getting yourself fine, and then get you a diffuser and start utilizing aromatherapy. It's so many ways to start getting yourself back to a calm space. Being born in America as a melanated person, you coming out the gate with anxiety. I mean, you coming out the gate with, I gotta move a certain way, I gotta move this way. But why wouldn't you, if you're gonna carry this hue, and people have carried so much on their backs for us to be able to be where we are now, why wouldn't you carry that with pride?
Once again, like I'm not, and we probably talking about two different groups of people. I'm just thinking like a younger generation wise, just not knowing history wise. People from the other generation, they should know it because it was talked about a lot. But also, I think not even just the history part, it's just not knowing stuff in general. Even when you talk about aromatherapy and stuff like that, I think it's people don't know about it enough.
They know about it when them fool celebrities said something about it, then it be everybody would jump on the bandwagon.
Which go back to your point of the puppet stuff too, because if they want you to know, they know who to get it to you. They know who to have speak to get that
Mhm.
message to you. You know what I'm saying? And I say they, I'm just talking about people in general, not like a person per se. But
I don't. That's
if that
another
was the
thing. Oh, I gotta speak on this. We gotta learn to shut up sometimes. The black community.
what you mean when you say that?
Opposite. Some stuff don't need to be talked about, put out into the populace. Some stuff need to be gate kept. Yes, I said it. Some stuff needs to be kept behind the gate because some people can't handle it.
Well, yeah, give me an example. I'm lost now. I'm not lost, but I'm curious rather what you're talking about.
Put it to you this way: there's a certain hue. I can't say hue. There's a certain group of individuals that have been light years ahead of us in a lot of areas in business because they keep their mouths shut.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we start doing it, somebody's always got to run their mouth because unfortunately there's a showy side to the black community where I got to show everything. I'm doing this. Like you need the validation from outside people. And once you start talking and putting out there that we are advancing and doing certain things, the goalpost gets moved. Sometimes you just need to do the thing and shut the heck up. And tell those within your sphere that are going to do the right thing and not turn it into some kind of scamming mess. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Some stuff don't even need to be put out there because some folks are not emotionally there to handle that.
But we live in like one thing about you was saying about the past and back in the days is it's a bunch of reasons why it's different. But one of the reasons why it's different too is it's the speed at which you can get a message out now as well. Mm-hmm. I wasn't around then, but I would wonder how long it took for the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech to actually be out to the public. You know what I'm saying? Because today it would be today. If he started talking at 6:50, it's out to the public at 6:50. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder, could we talk about like not speak, but and you would think it's more so now to be that way because you say that's it. It's there forever.
Yeah.
You think you delete it, it's gone. Screenshot now it's out there. Mm-hmm. I got it forever. So I do. That's a good point to make. Like as far as like just not speaking too much because we live in a live time world right now. Like the information is out.
Sometimes I can't stand it. I swear, it's too.
I miss the 90s every now and then.
I'm a little analog. I'm a lot analog. So digital for me, it's a hard balance because I get on there and be like, "Ooh, y'all getting on my nerves." Everybody, all races, all y'all getting on my nerves.
But everybody got a voice now. Even though everybody always had a voice with your First Amendment, quote unquote. But I mean, like, you could just make a page today and just say what you want to say, and you feel like I gotta get the message out, and that's what you're doing. So everybody has they feel like they got activists in them, and they feel like they got knowledge in them because you learned something that you didn't know. You only know a part of it, but you feel like you could address and say certain things. So I get what you're saying, but it's hard now because you never know where you get information from. Sometimes too, I can speak to you and I can hear the sincerity in your voice. I can see that you
have to
do
excuse
your
me sometimes because I get a little passionate about it. And
definitely, it's understood though, but I can respect that as opposed to somebody who just talking because they got lips, teeth, and a tongue.
Yeah.
So.
I'm like, lips, teeth, and a tongue. I might have to use it with my kids.
So I be trying, man. I be doing my little thing.
You just talking because you got lips, teeth, and a tongue. Like,
I like that.
But yeah, I think there's a lot that can happen. I'm not saying the whole community can be saved. And for those that do want to advance in life, don't save them. They don't want to be saved. That's all I can say to that. And when I say find some different music that's more uplifting, talking about positive things. For the males, there's a guy named Free Soul, and he's got a song now called "Be Yourself King," and I love it. I'm gonna send it to you so you can listen to it. But even though I'm not a guy, I still was like, man, this is powerful. Like this is dope for him to put this out. You got Lava, you got Lizzie Jeff, you got Sampa the Great, you got Ciroc. There's so many underground indie Black artists that are just rocking it, and I feel my stuff with that.
And I want to make it clear. I don't know if you're saying this verbatim, but I would say like you talk about balance, right? So it's not to say that you can't listen to the other music you like if you like.
Oh no, because I just
she
found
also just saying like, hey, let's get a balance there. Let's
Don't-
not make it all this. 'Cause
Yeah,
then
don't get it twisted
you
because
feeding
I
yourself
still
only that. You know?
I still listen. Now, when I work out, I do like Armed and Dangerous by King Bun.
But
There's certain songs like Big Book. I didn't even know who this guy was. But apparently he's got a son named Kiki. That's my nickname. So I listened to it. Some of the stuff I was like, some of it I was like, okay. But you know, it's just you have to have that mental capacity to take in. You know, it's kind of like eat the meat, spit out the bones. So you only do that. But I still have a balance. I don't always listen to just like spiritual uplifting music. I kind of listen to all genres anyway because I'm really trying to hear the message and figure out why they put that out. For me, I'm always trying to break it down. That could be the Gemini too. I don't know, but
Gemini. Okay.
yeah. I try not to have Kanye moments, but
that's why you like Kanye so much.
Oh yeah, I love Kanye. I understand Kanye, so yeah, on certain levels, sometimes I be like, that's too much.
that going to the whole. I don't know. He speaks things that make sense. Sometimes just his delivery is sometimes very, 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 very off. But
yeah, sometimes I be like, you Gemini too much, Gemini.
Yeah,
like
just,
I need you to
in.
maybe pass that to Kendrick, let him do that one. Just yeah, let's just because I listen. There's a balance, but it's just like I try not to feed it too much negativity. Now, I actually like Kendrick's new what Daylight Like Us. I think I just like the beat really more. And I'm not even a West Coast girly, but I just kind of like the beat.
The song is good.
It's a good song, and it's dum 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 dum. The frequency in it is dum dum. You know, it'll get you going.
Got you. They got us. They
got us, man. Oh my god. So I just want to say that I have a love for all of my melanated cousins out there. Some of y'all knuckleheads. Some of y'all be cutting up. But at the end of the day, if something do break off, we all gonna have to look at each other and be like, hey, we gonna time to bust a move. That's kind of like how we are places. That's why I don't get why we are deleting each other out here, because if we're in a place and we're the only two, we already locked in. Whether we know each other or not, it's kind of like you facial expressions, we in there. Or if one of us running somewhere, we ain't got to say nothing. Everybody running. We'll find out at the rally point why we all started running. It's dope. Something in us that connects us, whether we are blood cousins or not. It's something in the DNA of us that connects us. So I don't understand why we can't connect more on a positive note versus raising more hell amongst a group of people that already had enough hell raised on them from the time other folks got him. Yeah. Some of us was already him. Some of my cousins got dropped off. But yeah, you know what I mean? So we need to cut that out, because we already have the world globally looks at melanated people differently.
Yeah.
So we gotta get it together. We gotta get our mental health together, our spiritual health, all of it. And once you start getting everything else together, your mind will be balanced. You can't let your mind go. That's Definitely. The worst thing you can do is let somebody else get control of your mind or have control of your mind.
Definitely, man. Look, man, this is dope. I like that, man. First of all, I'm gonna clap it up for you, man. Real good job, man. Good conversation.
Don't jump on me, cousins. Don't jump on me.
Like I knew it would be, but yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming through. Definitely had a dope conversation. I know you gotta show me some seeds and stuff. I do want to know what that's about. I'm interested in that now.
Gardening.
I wanna do that with the thing too. But yeah, man, this is dope. Tell them where they can find you at. Matter of fact,
on Instagram, I'm at Melanated Earth Steward. So I also have a YouTube, but I'm not on there for real. I'm doing way too many other things right now, but yeah, Melanated Earth Steward on YouTube. I mean, on Instagram. I'm not giving my Facebook because I'm about to get off of there soon. So yeah, that's where y'all can find me, or hit Bobby up. Bobby can get in touch with me. Bobby's the only person I talk to for real with a podcast. Cause yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Look, man, One Masters Podcast be out.